What's going on, y'all, and happy Monday. I hope everybody out there had a fantastic weekend. All the fathers out there, I hope that you were celebrated for being a king and doing king shit to take care of your kids and your responsibilities as a man. And so with all of that said, let's go ahead and jump off into these topics. So I want to talk about juror number 6. Now, I briefly talked about this during my last video about how juror number 6 has the prosecution team feeling a little bit uneasy with his antics because his mannerisms seems to conclude that he's siding with Diddy. So since juror number 6 seems to be visibly perturbed as some of the stories that are coming out of some of the witnesses' mouths on that stand, it seems as though that the prosecution team is electing to remove this particular juror and have him replaced. Now, the problem is that Diddy's team is citing that this is some type of racial issue due to the fact that he's an African-American man, and they have filed to actually have a mistrial based off of that. Now, this is the third time that Diddy's team has filed for a mistrial in this case. I don't know if the judge is going to grant it because I personally believe that there's a higher power that's hovering over this case. Now, another thing that transpired is the fact that Ye showed up to the courtroom and actually supported his friend and Diddy. He didn't stay that long according to reports and things of that nature, but he was there. So a lot of people are calling Kanye out for wearing all white, given the fact that Diddy used to throw so many white parties and there's so many rumors surrounding those parties. And given the reaction that I've seen all over social media about Ye showing up to Diddy's trial, people just seem particularly like stunned and puzzled that he would show up wearing all white. But anyway, I want to play you guys some clips of credible individuals discussing the situation dealing with juror number 6, and then I'll be back.
And moments ago, juror number 6 on the Diddy trial was kicked off the jury, with the judge saying there's reason to believe that he intentionally deceived the court so that he could get on the jury. Now, the issue over juror number 6 has been looming all week, and it all started with an offhand comment he made about living in New Jersey. So juror number 6 is a black man who's 41 years old and from the Bronx. Or so he said. During voir dire, he told the court that he lives with his girlfriend and his daughter in an apartment in the Bronx. But then last week, he said that he moved to New Jersey to live with his girlfriend. It may not be permanent, but he spends most of his time there. So then the court started looking into it to see if he even qualified to be a juror in a New York City trial. But then he changed the story and said, no, I still have my New York City apartment and I stay there at least 4 to 5 days a week. He was then asked where his daughter lives, and he said, well, she was born in New Jersey, she lives in New Jersey. Asked about his Bronx apartment, he said he lives there with his aunt. So as the judge was addressing this issue, he noted several inconsistencies in his statement. So then the judge said, where does this leave us? And when I tell you in the courtroom, everyone was on pins and needles. The judge said this can come down to two things. Either this juror can't follow simple instructions, or he's intentionally deceiving the court. The judge said this brings up serious issues about his candor or his ability to follow the court's instructions. And then the judge went on to explain, this is exactly why we have alternates. At this point, Diddy is just shaking his head no. And that's when the judge says this juror will not be returning on Monday. Diddy is upset. He slightly tosses his arms up and adjusts himself in the chair. Now Diddy's attorney Xavier Donaldson stands up and said in a very polite way, Judge, I have no idea what you're talking about. There are plenty of people in New York City who go back and forth between New Jersey and New York to see significant others. He said at the very least, let him come out and explain. He went on to say that this juror has sacrificed a great deal. He's here every day, on time, for weeks, taking notes. And then he threw shade. He said, this one is attentive. I can't say that for all of them. And then Xavier Donaldson, who is black, said, there is something I have to say, something I am obligated to say. In my 25 years practicing here in the Southern District, I have never seen a jury this diverse. He said this is proof that we are moving in the right direction and that actually since 1990, we've been moving backwards. He said clearly this man is competent. He can read, he can write, he has a good job. This is not a good look. At this point, Diddy is nodding in agreement, and then Xavier Donaldson says, I don't like to play the race card unless I have it in my hand. I'm not saying I'm playing it now, but the facts are the facts. Then Diddy's lead attorney, Mark Agnifilo, stands up, said, I just want to say for the record that there is a difference between principal jurors and alternates. Then Brian Steele stands up and says, I just want to say that this information has been known since the jury selection process, and it's funny how now that jurors have been making faces and reacting, does it become a problem? I don't know about all that because remember, it was an offhanded comment that this juror made last week that sparked all of this. And now one of the prosecutors is responding to Donaldson, saying that he is suggesting that we make this decision based on race. And I will say that this juror did put in the work, that he has been paying attention, but so have the alternates. The judge is very calm. He tells them, listen, I hear you. And then says, if this juror said, listen, I go back and forth between New York and New Jersey, it would be all good. He said all of these questions are pretty straightforward, unless he wanted to be on the jury. He says if I keep him, there will be a perception that the jury is tainted. Now remember I told you Diddy is an unofficial member of his own defense team? Well, he is writing on these blue sticky notes, handing it to his attorneys. And when he sees that the judge is not budging, he takes off his glasses and then just slowly shakes his head. At one point, I thought he was going to stand up, but he was just handing more sticky notes off. Now, it doesn't seem like the judge is going to change his mind, but he said, if anything changes, I will let you guys know. And then Diddy turns to his family. His sons Justin and Christian were there, and his mom. But usually in court, particularly in the afternoon, Justin and Christian are in their own world. They bring a notebook and they are passing notes back and forth. But today I noticed, especially during that part, they were attentive, even leaning in. So Diddy mouths something to them, but he doesn't look defeated. He just looks like, man. Clearly, this is a big blow to the defense. To put it into context, juror number 6 is one of 8 men on the jury and one of 2 black men.
All right, y'all. Happy Monday. Welcome back. We are in week 6 of the Diddy trial. Today is day, I do believe, 24. So here's what's up for the day. Remember last week I gave you a heads up that the defense was arguing that the government was actually being racially biased towards juror number 6. Since then, they have filed a motion for a mistrial based on the conduct that the defense is accusing the government of taking on by way of their treatment of juror number 6. The defense is arguing, like, here's the problem. You picked this guy apart. First it was one thing, then it was another thing, and you continued to pick him apart until you found a technicality. I do believe had the government led with that technicality in the first place, that probably would not have been an argument, or the defense could not issue this motion. Now, I don't believe the judge is going to grant that, but just giving you kind of an update of what's going on today. And also, Brendan Paul is scheduled to take the witness stand today. If you don't know him, he was arrested. So he's coming in. He's going to testify on the behalf of the government, and that's all I have for you. I will see you shortly. Now, hypothetically, if I were the defense team, what I would do is I would go tit for tat. I know it's petty, but defense, the government is doing a really good job of being technical, which is why they were able to substantiate their request to remove juror number 6. So defense, you're going to have to switch up your strategy. Go tit for tat. Comb through their witnesses. Comb through the jurors that they selected. See if there's anything that conflicts with what they said. But you're going to have to come out and you're going to have to play ball.
It's Sunday, June 15th, and Diddy's legal team just threatened to file their 3rd mistrial motion. So let's break it down. I'm an attorney and I read what happened, so you don't have to. The judge is reviewing a request from the prosecution to dismiss juror number 6, a black male. This is being done due to his conflicting residency statements, which they say shows a lack of candor. However, Diddy's legal team stated that the real issue here is racial bias. In a letter filed today, they argue that removing a black juror will deprive Mr. Combs of that impartial perspective, and they are accusing prosecutors of trying to take advantage to strike yet another black member from the jury. Prosecutors counter that it's about honesty, not race. They insist that the issue is protecting the trial's integrity. The judge said that the jurors' shading answers to stay on the jury matters, and that he will consider both arguments and make a ruling on Monday. Diddy's legal team went on that dismissing a black juror would also discourage future minority jury service. This would be Diddy's 3rd mistrial request, and the judge's decision on the juror is due tomorrow. So make sure to come back and let me know if you have comments or questions down below.
All right, so you guys just heard all of that. Now, I'm going to say I'm with the prosecution and the judge on this one. As a juror, it doesn't matter if he's black or not. If he's up there making facial gestures and things like that, like he doesn't believe the victims on the stand and things like that, or the alleged victims rather, then of course, that is just straight up clownery, and it shouldn't be permissible in the court of law. Because when you look at this in its totality, there's another brother that's a juror that's not coming with the antics. He's governing himself in a very professional manner, and he's doing what he's supposed to do as a juror, right? So I don't understand how you're trying to pull the race card here. It's not applicable in my estimation. But anyway, before I go, I want to put you guys up on some key critical information that was expressed to me over the weekend. Now, I can't confirm or deny that this footage actually exists or these events actually took place, so I'm going to say that this is all alleged information. Now, supposedly there's audio of the twins actually saying that they heard their dad and Diddy threaten to delete their mom and Kim Porter several times. Now, I'm told that this alleged recording comes from friends of the twins that secretly recorded them talking about this in its entirety. And I'm also told that this alleged recording has made its rounds within the celebrity realm out there in Hollywood, and I'm told that it's heartbreaking, to say the least, that the twins were sobbing talking about the passing of their mother. And so there are people out there in Hollywood that are privy, allegedly, to this audio recording. Now, another thing that was brought to my attention, and this is just crazy to me, it's a shocker to say the very least, is the fact that there's rumblings that Kim Porter's passing was caught on video. I'm being told that Kim had secret security footage within the house that no one knew about but her and this other person. And so this person had a specific passcode to be able to log in to see if anything is going on at Kim Porter's house, if she wasn't there, or whatever the case may be. And I'm told that that particular person is extremely close to Kim. As a matter of fact, I know who it is, and that they have this footage of Kim Porter actually being deleted, and it didn't go down like we thought it went down. Now, for clearer context, I'm told that this particular person that had access to Kim's surveillance, her home security system, did not have access to it 24/7. In fact, Kim had to go into the system to actually grant permission for this person to be able to log in. Now, it was expressed to me that 4 days before Kim passed away, that she actually granted this particular person that she trusted access to her security camera footage. And this person has everything that transpired the night that Kim Porter passed away. They're saying that Kim Porter did not pass away in her sleep. They're saying that this was actually MURDER. And so that narrative that they were pushing, saying that Kim must have passed away in her sleep and that she was found the next morning, is unequivocally false. According to my plug, at least, right? And so this is what I've been told, y'all. And so it seems as though that Kim Porter passed away, and that the coroner was not called until the morning because people were trying to figure out their storyline, or trying to get their shit together, or trying to get the lies together, or whatever the case may be. Now, another thing that I was told about this situation is that the feds seem to be uninterested in the Kim Porter situation, despite all the evidence that they may have at their disposal, things of that nature, that they're really uninterested. And I would like to know why they're not pursuing that. And see, this lets me know that they're just targeting whatever they need to target as it pertains to protect other people, bigger people in these high political positions, because they really don't care what happened to Kim Porter, a black woman, let's be honest. But anyway, I'm gonna let this go right here. I want you guys to drop down in the comments to let me know what you think about everything that I discussed within this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and if you're new here, consider subbing to the channel. I'll get with you guys later. Peace.